Okay, so you've been hearing all the buzz about this OURA Ring 4, right? Everyone wants to know, is it really all that? Is it worth the hype? Well, we're going to find out today, because we're doing a deep dive into 2 different articles about it. Let's break it all down and see what's really going on.
You know, one of the things that stands out to me is that Aura isn't really trying to be everything to everyone, you know? They're focused, laser focused, really, on this whole sleep and recovery thing.
Totally. It's not trying to be your smartwatch.
Right.
It's like they've found their niche.
Yeah.
And they're really leaning into it. And one of the first things I noticed just looking at it is this new design. They're using titanium now.
Yeah, and that's huge. It's not just about sounding fancy. Titanium is incredibly durable, right? So you're talking about a ring you wear all the time. It's got to hold up. But the big thing for me, and I think a lot of people don't think about this with wearables, is it's hypoallergenic.
Oh, interesting.
That's a really smart choice for something you're wearing 24/7.
Right, because you don't want it irritating your skin or anything. And it's not just the material. They actually made the whole design slimmer.
Oh, for sure. It's way sleeker. And that's something we're seeing across the board in wearables, right? Packing more tech into smaller packages.
Absolutely. And speaking of tech, they are making some pretty bold claims about the sensor accuracy in this thing. One of the articles even said 120% improvement in blood oxygen measurements. That's their SpO2, right?
Yeah, and 30% better accuracy on sleep tracking heart rate. That's significant.
That's huge.
And it all comes down to these teeny tiny sensors.
Okay, because I read that they're like 0.3 millimeters.
Yeah.
That's thinner than a human hair.
I know, it's insane, right?
How do they even make a sensor that small?
It's pretty amazing when you think about the advancements in, material science, nanotech, and all that. But what's really cool is that these smaller sensors, they say, are actually more accurate.
Okay, so smaller size, better data. How does that even work?
So they're using what they call an asymmetrical placement on the ring, which basically means they've really thought about where these sensors are going to get the best data from your finger. And everyone's physiology is different, right? So the algorithm actually fine-tunes itself based on your unique anatomy.
So it's learning as it goes.
Exactly. It's like having a personalized sensor setup.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But let's bring this back down to earth for a second. What does this all mean for the person who's actually wearing the ring?
More accurate data equals better insights. You'll know more about how you sleep, how you recover from workouts. You might even pick up on early warning signs if something's off.
So it's not just about seeing a bunch of numbers.
No, not at all. It's about understanding what your body is telling you.
I like that. Okay, so we've got the design, we've got the sensors. What else can this thing do?
Well, on the activity tracking front, they've really upped their game too. This new ring can automatically detect over 40 different activities, from running and cycling to things like weightlifting and yoga.
Wow, okay, that's way more than I expected. So does it give you your heart rate zones for all that and everything?
You bet. It's seriously detailed. They've even got something called a breathing distribution index.
Oh, what BDI?
Yeah, BDI. It basically measures how consistently you're breathing throughout the night.
Okay. And why is that important?
Well, it turns out changes in your breathing patterns can actually be an early indicator of stress or even illness.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Something as simple as breathing could, reveal that much.
It's wild, right? And of course, it also tracks reproductive health, which is something we're seeing more and more wearables incorporate these days.
So basically, this little ring is becoming like a full-on health guru.
Right. But here's the thing. A lot of wearables are trying to do that, but Aura seems to be focusing on actually making all that data, understandable.
Oh, that's key for me. I tried some wearables where it's like, here's a million graphs. Good luck.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
You don't need a PhD to figure out if you slept well.
Exactly.
And that's where the software comes in. Both these articles talked about a redesigned Aura app. They said it's way more streamlined.
Okay, so tell me more about that. What's different about it?
Well, it sounds like they really focused on giving you personalized insights, but in a way that makes sense. Like they're using these things called dynamic cards.
Dynamic cards. Okay, what's a dynamic card?
Basically, it's like these little snippets of info that are just for you. So instead of just showing you a graph of your heart rate variability, like over the past week, it might say, hey, your HRV's looking great. Looks like you're recovering well from your workouts.
Oh, okay. So it's like translating the data.
Exactly.
Instead of just throwing numbers at you. Right. It's like having a little coach in your pocket.
I like that.
And for those who maybe aren't familiar, heart rate variability, or HRV, that's basically a measure of how much variation there is in the time between your heartbeats.
Okay.
It can tell you a lot about your overall health.
Interesting. See, that's helpful because not everyone knows all this technical stuff.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're really trying to, find that sweet spot between giving you enough data to be useful but not overwhelming you.
Totally. And that's the holy grail for these wearables,
Yeah.
striking that balance.
Well, I, for one, appreciate it because I can get lost in the weeds with tech stuff sometimes.
Hey.
But speaking of user experience, what about everyone's least favorite thing, battery life?
Okay, get this. The OURA Ring 4, they're saying up to 8 days on a single charge.
8 days. Seriously. How is that even possible with something so small?
Well, a big part of it is there's no screen.
Right.
That just sucks up battery life on most wearables.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But they must have done something fancy with the battery efficiency too, both on the hardware and the software side.
So it's a trade-off. Some people might really miss having a little display on the ring itself, but me, I'll take the extra battery life any day.
Yeah. And remember, they're really banking on the app to deliver all those insights.
True. Okay, now, I saw one of these articles mention something called OURA Labs. What is that?
Think of it like their experimental playground,
Okay.
where they're testing out new features, seeing what's possible.
Like a beta testing kind of thing?
Yeah, but even more cutting edge.
Okay, well, give me some examples. What kind of stuff are they playing around with over there?
Well, one that caught my eye was meal tracking. They actually bought this company, that specializes in metabolic health, and they're integrating that tech into the whole Aura ecosystem.
Wait, so you're telling me this ring could potentially tell me what I should be eating based on my own biometrics?
That's the idea. Imagine getting personalized nutrition advice based on how your body actually reacts to food.
Okay, that is next level.
Right.
What else is cooking in the OURA Labs?
Another one that's super interesting is something called symptom radar.
Okay. Symptom radar.
So the idea is it's like an early warning system for getting sick. It looks for changes in your biometric data that might suggest you're coming down with something.
Whoa. So it knows before you do.
Potentially. They actually first developed this for pro sports during the peak of the pandemic
Oh, wow.
to try and monitor athletes and prevent outbreaks.
That's amazing. It's kind of freaky too, though, right? Like this tech that can predict the future.
It really makes you wonder what else they'll be able to do with wearables down the line. This is just the beginning,
I know. It's a lot to wrap your head around. So it seems like OURA isn't content with just being another fitness tracker. They're really trying to be at the forefront of all this, personalized health stuff.
Oh, absolutely. They want to be the leaders, not the followers.
I like that. So with these OURA Labs, it's like we're getting a sneak peek into the future of, health monitoring.
Totally. But it is important to remember this is all still experimental. We don't know when or even if these features will be available to everyone.
Right. Okay, good point. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's exciting to think about.
Oh, for sure. This is definitely one to watch.
Okay, so we've talked about the design, the tech, the software, even the future stuff. But let's be real. All this sounds pretty high-end. What's the damage? What's the price tag on this thing?
Yeah, the OURA Ring 4, it starts at $349.
Okay, so not exactly an impulse buy.
Right.
How does that compare to other, the top-tier Fitbits or even some of the Apple Watches out there?
It's definitely up there. It's positioned as a premium device for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
You can find some Fitbits and even Apple Watches for less, but Aura's really banking on their expertise in sleep and recovery. And then all the software development, the research they're doing, that factors in too.
True. And let's not forget, there's also that monthly membership fee. Right.
How much is that running these days?
So it's $5.99 a month, or you can do the whole year up front for $69.99.
Okay, so you're not just buying the ring, you're buying into this whole Aura system. What are you actually getting for that membership?
That's what unlocks all the good stuff, really.
Hmm.
All those personalized insights we were talking about, the advanced activity analysis, and then any new features or updates they come out with, you get those too as part of the membership.
So you're essentially paying for the software to keep evolving,
Exactly.
which, depending on how much you're going to use it, that could be worth it.
Totally. It all comes back to what you're looking for, right? If you're just trying to track your steps, there are cheaper options. But if you're serious about this whole sleep optimization, recovery, well-being thing, then the OURA Ring 4, with all the bells and whistles, it might be a good investment. That's a good point. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Not at all.
Well, okay, we've covered a lot today. New design, fancy sensors, user-friendly app, amazing battery life, even peeked into the future with OURA Labs. But the million-dollar question is, does it actually live up to the hype?
That's the thing, isn't it? You gotta try it to really know.
Yeah. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of shiny new gadgets.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Reading all this got me super interested in the Oura Ring 4, but the real test is, does it actually work for you, you know?
Yeah.
Does it fit into your life? Does it help you reach your goals? And I'm really curious to see how those Oura Labs features actually work in the wild.
Me too. Well, on that note, I think we've thoroughly explored the Oura Ring 4. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive. And remember, folks, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your health.
Couldn't agree more. Until next time.